If you're a lazy artist like me, then let me show you the easiest things that you can do to improve your art fast. So first thing that actually made a huge difference in my drawings was warming up. So I'm not even kidding, like 5 to 10 minutes of warming up can really save your drawings. For example, here I did the studies of Sakimi-chan's faces, and this was the first one and this was the second one. To be honest, this one doesn't really look like her style, a little bit maybe, but the second one looks much more like her style. A lot of soft edges, nice gradients, and this is like more harsher, which is not really her art style. So why is that? So pretty much it's because on this drawing I was warming up, and on this one I was already warmed up. So this means that our arm is really stiff, therefore our lines, our strokes, everything will be pretty bad, and therefore our base for a drawing will be messed up. So for a long time I actually thought that my first drawing will always look bad, therefore I just didn't really care about it. But how we can actually not waste our drawings? The thing is super simple. As I said before, these are just simple warm-ups. So pretty much we just want to fill the whole canvas with circles first. It will help you draw more organic shapes, and also circles are base of a lot of things like faces, maybe like shoulders, ovals for the rib cage. So you can fill the whole canvas with circles, vary the size, make some small, some bigger ones, some medium ones. You can also do ovals, and then you want to place one dot and shoot straight line from it. Boom. And if you mess up one line, then just Ctrl Z and do it again. So this will help you draw straight lines from different directions. For example, here we need here, here, and you can just practice that. Then just make a couple of super random dots and try to connect them using straight lines. Boom. And don't overshoot it. Try to actually make a correct line here and a straight one. Boom. And this will also help you with your mind muscle connection. So it will help you basically just put strokes wherever you want. So you won't just overshoot it, you just do a perfect boom. And then boom, boom, boom. But you can also do a quick gesture studies. So a 5-minute ones, or you can just fill the whole canvas with CSI. Boom. So pretty much CSI. It will help you have a flow in your drawings. Just try to make these flowy lines. And here even when I did studies of Samda's art style, and you can see that this was the first one that I did, and then this was the second one, which is much closer to the Sam's drawing, which here I actually gave up after some time because I don't know, I didn't like how it looked. But also if you want my brushes, they are for free in the description below, and with them you'll get 30 art tips that will help you improve your art in 30 days. So next thing is actually amazing for spotting the mistakes in your drawings, so therefore you can fix them quickly. So after you draw for some time, you will just get used to the drawing, and it will be really difficult to actually spot any mistakes, any things that are off in it. So first thing that will actually help you see the mistakes and spot them better is flipping the canvas. So you can just flip the image and see what's wrong with it, and we can instantly see that the jawline should be a little bit higher. It should be aligned with the mouth. So therefore flipping the canvas will actually help you spot these mistakes. For example, here if we flip the canvas, we already see that this side here is pretty wonky. Also the neck look pretty weird, whereas here is the head, it just doesn't match it really. So flipping the canvas will help you have a new perspective on your drawing. But also don't overdo it, because if you start flipping the canvas every second like I used to do, you just get used to the flip drawing. But if you do that, you can always just flip it vertically, boom, and here also you can get a lot of information. Like a lot of mistakes will still stick out even from upside down angle. So another thing that will help you spot your mistake is just going AFK for a couple of minutes and coming back to your drawing, and you'll 100% see something's off with your drawing. But also you can just zoom out and from far away just see how the drawing actually reads. Can you really see the focal point face here mostly? And it's super important, even from far away, can you really see the focal point here? And yes, you can see here and here. But now with this, actually let's go to the next thing, which is checking your values. So pretty much if we zoom out here, on this drawing here, we can really see the face of the character and the silhouette of the body. But on this one, it's pretty difficult, and it's because of the contrast. So here we see that we don't really have much of contrast with these colors here, whereas here we have one darker, lighter, darker, lighter, super actually lighter, boom, darker, lighter, boom. And you see a lot of values, whereas here we have pretty much just stay in this zone here, and here we stay in the whole zone. So first just think about what will be your focal point. For example, here would be mostly face, and other places here mostly face and a little bit of silhouette of the character. So therefore we don't want to actually hide it. And here the colors are actually pretty similar besides the head, but one thing that I've changed, so the background here is actually a little bit darker, but we have an outline like a smoke around our characters, which is like a lighter value, therefore there's much more contrast. But sometimes maybe you have already a lot of colors like here and you don't really see these values that good. So then instead of just taking your hue and like lowering the saturation, what we can actually do is just put it in grayscale. So for me it's Ctrl Y, and it's much more accurate than just putting the saturation to 0. So you actually see, if we go back here and then change the saturation to 0, and now we'll change our values, we see that there is a difference. Boom. Here we have saturation to 0, and here we have our normal drawing, and these aren't the same. So yeah, Ctrl Y is super useful, and actually I'll put the link for it because it's one like file that you have to download, so you'll get the tutorial for it. So same here, we see that these colors here are actually really close to each other, whereas here you literally see the character. So one thing that you can actually also do with it is make your colors have contrast in values. So for example, we see that the face have lighter value, the hair are a little bit darker, and background is lighter. For example, here we also see lighter face, darker hair, and lighter background. Boom. And here I actually messed up. There are also pretty similar values, not that much, but the hair are actually getting lost in the background. And here what you can actually do is just add rim light, like I did here. So this will improve your drawings a lot, just by observing the values and making sure that you can actually clearly see your focal point. Obviously going from far and changing to grayscale, here we still see the face, and here we cannot really see it. Now, fourth thing will actually improve your drawings a lot, and it's basic simplification. So pretty much we just want to break every single thing into basic shapes. For example, here we see a sketch for a character that usually just looks like this when I draw. So first I start with a super messy sketch, then on another layer I just put a little bit more refined sketch, and I actually keep both. As you can see here, we have some softer, and then I obviously place like grayscale to see the shapes better. But we want to simplify everything into basic shapes. So for example, a head can be a simple ball with a jaw, boom, and we have a head. Same here, another ball with a jaw here, boom, and eyes here. This is perspective, boom. To be honest, this is too big, but yeah. And even from side view, I like to just break it into an egg shape or an oval. And then either we can just do this shape for more anime style faces, or just go and make this, boom, and then just add this muzzle. And even here you see that we have a sphere and then a simple jaw, here a line, and boom. Even here this leg was actually like a cylinder. Here you see these lines here overlap, here, boom, and this, boom. Also let me know if you want to actually see videos when I actually draw things, because I have a lot of like scrapped drawings like this, Luna Snow from Marvel Rivals, so you can just tell me if you want to see actually some content on actually drawing these characters. But yeah, just break everything into simple shapes. Even like nose can be just drawn as like 2 lines, boom. A neck can be a cylinder, boom. Ears can be just simplified into a shape like that, boom. A little bit of details like that, boom. And even eyes, like 2 lines up top, 2 at the bottom, then an iris, some eyelids, boom. Thicker line for the eyelashes, boom. And then just add a few of eyelashes, boom, boom. And super simple. For example, when I draw hair, I just break them into also basic shapes, and I just make 1 line, and I pretty much just do an outline of the silhouette of the hair. So I just do something like this, boom, then 1, boom, boom. This is what I would do in my sketch, and you can actually see here. This is like a little bit more refined, but still we have 1 shape here like that, then other here, boom, and then 1 bigger one here, and obviously this thing here, boom. Super simple. And it's actually super nice to break the hair into front portion, boom, the side portion, and the back portion, boom, my OC, boom, boom. So you break everything into super basic shapes. But you can also simplify the shadows. For example, here you see that the shadow is just this like a small shape. Same, for example, here, boom, boom, super simple. This rim light here, super simple. Even in this drawing, you can see that here we have 1 shape like that for the light on the face. Even here, boom, super simple shapes. Even here, like a boom. Even here is highlighted like this, these triangles, these basic shapes. So simplify literally everything into super basic shapes. Now, 5th thing is actually super simple, and you can do this before you even draw. So it's basically just planning your drawing and using references. This is super important. And this is actually a huge no-brainer. I literally saw a huge improvement in my drawings when I just used references, but also when I actually planned the drawing. And I saw a huge difference in the way the drawing came up, the speed of finishing it, and also how fun it was. It was way more fun. Planning a drawing can do a couple of things for you here. First of all, we can actually see what we want to draw. Second, we don't want to guess what we're drawing. And then third, because you know what you want to draw, the drawing will come up much faster. And it's super simple. So you can see obviously on the screen that I use an app called Pure. It's free if you want to know. And the best thing is that it stays on top, so you can just draw and it doesn't disappear. But even better is you can just take anything and just put it into here. So you can go on Pinterest, Twitter, just drag and drop things and just put them here. And obviously you can save and use it for next time. But what I actually like to do is group them up. So I like having references for the pose of the character, the expressions, but also of the character that I want to draw, if it's a fan art or a study. And then I want to also have some references for rendering. So maybe a little bit of, maybe some clothes, hair, maybe other artists' drawings and the way they render things. It's super useful and it will make your drawings much better. Don't make a million of them. You'll get just overwhelmed and your drawing will look all over the place. Now, next thing that you can actually utilize to make your drawings much better are a simple thing. So I mainly use a CSP, as you can see, and there's a couple of things, but you can also do this in other programs. Basically can just enhance your drawings a lot. So first we have layer modes, and let me just do on this drawing here. So make a layer, and I usually just use like color dodge, glow dodge, add glow, overlay, or hard light. So let's maybe try glow dodge. Now we can pick an airbrush and just paint it, and you see it kind of breaks. So maybe add glow, okay. And what we can do to make our character like stand out, as you can see here, you can add a simple rim light. So just select an area that you want to draw, let's say here, boom, and just paint it like this. But here I would make it more saturated, and then inside a little bit lighter like this, boom. And then obviously we can add a new layer, add glow, and just paint it on top of that. So that's basically what I did in the previous drawing. I mean, with in the refined version here, you just basically pick your brush and then you just add these details here, boom, maybe a little bit less saturated like that, boom, and just go and add everything everywhere where you want this to be, obviously where it makes sense. And for example, here I made it so it stands out from the hair here, boom, and a little bit of here. And also the hair are obviously, if I didn't do that, they would just blend with the background. So we have a little bit of rim light here as well. And also you can see how this one just blends with the background, and here it doesn't as much. So next thing that you can do here is use correction layers. So first I always use brightness and contrast, and we can just raise the brightness, make it maybe darker, raise the contrast, boom, and already looks closer to this. But then we can also add new correction layer and use to color balance. I use these both mainly. So go to shadows, maybe we can make it a little bit more cooler. Now make the highlights, so the shadows, so the light more warmer, maybe a little bit of magenta color here, boom, and it already looks closer to this, boom. But also using these layers can actually add some cool effects, like you can see here, some light shining from the background, boom, blending things. You can even add maybe glow to the face, boom. Obviously it's a little bit too much, but you can see what you can do with it, like maybe more glow, boom, and pretty much you have the drawing there. So after these things, I usually just merge the layers and then go and add filters. Go effects, chromatic aberration, and chromatic aberration basically moves color channels, and you see that you get just some reds, some blues, and also some greens at an offset. So if we zoom in and press preview, boom, you see it, boom. So I really like adding this, and then I just go copy and paste the layer, go into again filters, blur, Gaussian blur, and just add some blur. So then I just take an eraser and try to erase focal points, so places where I want people to look at. Here, so just like a whole character here. Check this, boom, and then I merge layers, and lastly effects, noise, and add a little bit of noise. It just makes it, you see this grainy colors, pretty nice, and we see that it's very similar to these drawing, obviously without a little bit of rendering. and adjustments. And now we want to go to the last thing, and this thing actually makes a huge difference in your drawings. And it's pretty obvious, it's just to study, but you will have a couple of ways that we can actually do that. So the first one is basically just you take a reference from someone's art you want to study them, and then you try to copy it. So after you finish a study, what you can do is basically just take this picture, lay over this, and see where you were off. You can also just maybe trace the picture, boom, boom, just try to break it into basic shapes, and then you just go and draw again. Then another one is less of a study, but I really like it. So pretty much you just go on internet, just take whatever artist you like and take their artwork and just gather some artworks that you really like. For example, like here Sakimi-chan or Nixie or Lamaya, and just study that. So here you just don't want to have brain, you can use it still, but I don't know, look at the reference and I try to draw it, boom, copy it, trace it, whatever. And even with that you will learn something, and actually makes it much more fun to just draw whatever you want and copy wherever you want. And if you struggle with drawing faces, what you can do is check out the course that I'm making about drawing faces, so pretty much it will help you go from a basic potato to a fully rendered face. And for now it's half off, so you can get it till I finish it next month, and it will be a full price. So you can check it out in below. Now to recap, a first thing that can actually improve your drawings a lot is simply just warming up a couple of minutes. So doing circles, straight lines, like CSI even, and this will help you a lot. Then obviously flipping the canvas will help you see the mistakes much easier, and also you can flip it vertically like that, or even zoom out, go AFK, and you'll quickly spot some mistakes. Next thing that will help you is simply just using a grayscale, so you can see here, and making sure that you can still see your focal point, because if you have a really nice values, good values, and you have bad colors, the drawing will still look good. Just Ctrl Y and see the values and try to spot them, actually zoom out and see if the drawing reads well. Then obviously breaking your drawing into super basic shapes like here. So we want to use circles, like ovals, maybe even boxes, and whatever here you see, super simple shapes, break everything, boom, boom. Even the body was a simple oval, then here, boom, here, boom, and we have our super simple shapes. So break everything into super basic shapes. Then use references, and you can use PureRef, so just drag and drop a reference and try to observe it and use it for whatever you need. Maybe it's rendering, maybe it's poses, expressions, just gather references. It will make drawing process much easier and more fun. And next, use layer modes, correction layers, and even some filters that will help you just enhance your drawing a lot and adjust it. And lastly, study your favorite artists, but also just draw for fun, gather some references from the internet and just copy them. Obviously it's more for fun, but you still learn something. And also you can check out my Patreon for monthly tutorials, and if you want to learn how to draw basic anime faces, you can check out this video here that will help you with it. Bye.